Hello everyone! Thank you for joining me. Happy Wednesday. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Thanks replay viewers for watching, and thank you YouTube viewers for watching. This will go up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies when I'm done here tonight. I see you guys popping in. I've missed all of you. I've been gone for a week or so for the holidays, and now I am back. We are going to hopefully finish up my Tweet House embroidery. We did the whole crayon tinting for the embroidery. So here we are. Here's where I left off last time. We have the stitching all done for the house area, except for the roof. It's all colored in, and we'll just do some more stitching today. And yes, Happy New Year, Happy 2018. Let me know how your guys' holiday went, and we'll just chit chat and stitch tonight. I am going to use the super shiny metallic floss tonight just because I can't wait anymore. I want to get using it. So, all right, we'll get going on that right away. If you did want to stitch this pattern, I do have a PDF printable version of it and a iron-on transfer physical version of that. I have links to those here. We'll work on this through Friday, so today, tomorrow, and Friday. If we get done with that, I might break out the Splendid Sampler quilt and work on the border machine quilting for that, since that's still hanging in the balance. And then on Monday, we'll be starting the Charming Chevrons quilt by Christa Watson. And I have information on that quilt in this Facebook post as well. And I encourage you guys to join her Facebook group, and you can share your progress and stuff there. And you can always share what you're working on in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group as well. So I hope you check that out. Okay, guys, I'm gonna flip you around and we'll get started. Hello, everyone. There's Zeb. He is the keeper of the embroidery needle. There we go. Boop. Oh, thanks, Gretchen. And thank you guys. I know I popped in for the fabric sale, and you guys just overwhelmed me with all your fabric purchases. You guys are all just so sweet. I'm so happy with how that went. I've started cutting everything, so you guys should have your orders. I'm hoping to have them done by the weekend and starting to ship them on Monday. So that's the plan. But you're helping me clean up all my fabric, and now I don't have tons of it around anymore. And I'm excited to see you guys make stuff out of it, because it would have just been sitting in my bins forever and nothing being made out of it. So I'm happy that something will happen with it now, with you guys having it. So thanks again for your guys' support. All right, we got it in the hoop here. And all right, so I have this cool thread. I didn't put a link to it, but I'll do that after we're done. Oh, thanks, Paula. Hello, Jane from New Jersey. So this is that Nishi Kiito metallic thread, and it really is metallic-y. It's not like some metallic thread where it feels like a filament that goes around, or a metallic that goes around like a filament core or something. This actually seems metallic, and man, I should have unknotted this to begin with. It's got like a giant knot here. I'm gonna just cut and hope that that is okay. I have not used this color yet. This color is kind of, it's kind of like a sweet little rainbow of silver and pink and blue, which is kind of a lot of what we have working on in here. So we're gonna use that. Oh, I'm nervous about this, but we're doing it. There's no other way. Oh, it just kind of popped out of there. All right. There's like some weird slip knot or something. Well, that's an interesting thing. I've never seen that way. Oh man, I kind of love that. Okay, so first of all, we got to see how they did that. This is how they secured the thread. They did a little slip knot like this. let me see if I can recreate that because that was kind of cool. So they did a slip knot, and then I think they just wrapped it around again, and then put the thread through the slip knot, which I can't do, and then pulled it tight. Check that out. Have you guys ever secured floss that way? I've never seen that before. That is some fancy stuff. Okay, man, I'm using that idea again to secure floss. Clever. So again, they just made a slip knot, and then, you know, here's the slip knot right here. I can just poof that right out right there. And wow, that totally secured it. You know, versus having, let's do that on a normal floss and see what happens. Okay, so I gotta do that again, just because that was cool. All right, we're doing a little slip knot. So going around once, and like how you're tying a normal knot, but instead of pulling the thread all the way through, you're just gonna leave it as a loop, like that. I think I probably need a longer end than that. Like the end needs to go all the way around. There we go. Stick it through the loop. We're totally distracted now. All right, and then you just keep pulling it tight, and it holds the floss right there. That is interesting. I've never ever seen that before. And then you just pull the little end out, and then just pop the little slip knot there. That is interesting. Well, that's great because I did not, this is my one that I've used already, and I've had to cut like a little slit out of the top of this. So I'll just do that for to secure this one again. That's neat. I've never seen that before. All right, already learning something for the new year. Good way to start 2018. All right, so I'm going to double up, well, you know what? Maybe we'll just use a single thread of this. Usually I double up this floss, but maybe it'll be cute with just a single thread. So I'm just kind of looking at what a single thread looks like. Usually I double it up because two of these kind of look more like the same thickness of the 3 strands that I usually like. But I don't know, I think I like maybe just the single strand. I think that just a little pop of that silver will look good for all these snowflakes. So what I'm thinking of doing is on the roof here, I'm thinking of starting at the roof because then I can weave the ends into the backs of these stitches. I can weave them into what I already have. And I will do all these little roof marks. So you can see there's a bunch of little V's. I'm gonna do little fly stitches or open chain stitches for those. And then I'm just gonna jump. I'm not gonna worry about seeing my floss through the back, but I wanna do every single snowflake with this sparkly, shiny metallic floss. So that means all these French knots and these little X's, and then also my snowflakes. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, just a hint of glitter, exactly like that, Deborah. Just a single strand, so keep it soft and add just a hint of sparkle. So yeah, so I think all of these snow-related bits I'm gonna do with the sparkle, and then I'll go back and I think we'll just stick to the threads that we're already using, keep it kind of minimal, because it's already bright and colorful. So instead of adding more colors, I think I'll just keep the 3 that we've been using. We have the blue too, but I'll just keep these 3. All my green parts, I'll use, you know, this green, gray, citrusy thing. So all of these, and then maybe I have this purple that could be maybe this feller down here, and then this orangey red that we did the cardinals with. I'll do that for all the berries, and then the rest will be this silver. So I think that's my plan. All right, I'm gonna just use this single strand. I think that's gonna just be a whole lot easier. I'm a little wary of having a lot of this going on at once, like a long piece of floss, just because this metallic can be a little unruly. And you know what? I'm gonna just do that slip knot thing right away. Let's snip this, because this is gonna just start unraveling if I leave it as is. So we're gonna do that little slip knot, wrap it around a bit, make that slip knot smaller. All right, wrap around one more time, stick the end through that slip knot. Oh, man, it's my new favorite thing. All right. So I'm going to weave in the backs of these stitches to get started, just because that's a lot easier than starting with the away knot that I usually do. It saves floss a little bit. So I'm going to do it the same way, just weaving it in 3 times to kind of lock it in place. I don't like starting with a knot because I don't like things catching on it when I'm stitching. So this you completely avoid that situation. All right, and then I'm gonna snip my little end here. Boop. Ooh, I already like the sparkle. It's gonna be so subtle. Like I don't even think you'll notice that it is transitioning from pink to blue to silver, but I think it just goes with the variegated floss that we're doing for everything else. All right, so we're doing this roof here. They're little fly stitches, so they're, you know, or open chain stitches. So it's like a chain stitch where we, with a chain stitch, we come out and then we go back in the same spot before tacking it down. This time we're going way over here instead of in the same stitch. So here we go. This is my start point. This is my end point. I've looped my thread in the direction of this little arrow, basically. So I have it going underneath because that's the direction of the arrow. And before I get too far, I'm going to come up at that bottom point of the arrow. I'm coming, you know, within this loop so that when I pull on this now, coming up in the middle is going to, it's going to hold that little point, like I'm catching that U. And then to tack it down, since if we don't tack it down, it's just going to go all over the place like that. It's not holding itself. We need to tack it down. So I'm just going right on the other side of that point and making an extra little tiny stitch. And that is our little open chain stitch, or a little fly stitch. And I love the sparkle already. Oh man, this is gonna be great. So let's continue with this roof. I can just see the stitches enough or the drawing enough, the pencil lines, because I colored over it with all that crayon, and some of those darker colors I'm having a little hard time seeing, but I think we'll be okay. All right, through the center. Oh man, see, look, I'm already having weird issues with this metallic floss. Like I broke off a piece of the metallic already. Well, we'll just have to keep an eye on it. So this Nishi Kyoto floss is awesome because it's super sparkly because it's actually metal. But yeah, then you're dealing with stitching with metal. So if it bends around quite a bit, it's gonna break. So it's probably better to use a shorter piece of floss and try to handle it as little as possible. I'm a little worried about doing French knots with it because French knots, there's a lot of bending, there's a lot of wrapping, a lot going on. And I'm not sure if I've done a bunch of French knots with metallic floss before, so we'll see that. We'll see how that goes. So I'm coming up the other side now, which is fine. I just have to start and end in the different places. The important part is that I'm going up in the middle and catching this loop. Oh, you had to use 4 strands for your metallic. Yeah, oftentimes metallic is much thinner. Or it's a different size than, ooh, let's jump back up here. Different size than normal embroidery floss strands. So yeah, you kind of have to experiment with how many strands you want to use. I think just for this, just that little bit of sparkle for this is working for me. Oh, thanks, Patricia. I'm loving it so far. So look from far away. Already it just stands out, and on all that color on the roof, I think that just is really kind of neat. It's almost like tie-dyed behind it. Uh-oh. I feel like, oh, I thought I put the needle out of the thread, but we're still good here. Just felt funny. So this is a time when going in and out. I'm going to just twist it so it's easier for me to go in and out. An in and out stitch like this, where like I'm just going in and out with the needle right away. These chain stitches are an opportunity to do that. Then it's less floss going all over the place. Ooh, yeah, it looks icy, which is perfect. That's exactly how I want it to look. So I'm just gonna go in and out, and then I'm actually gonna just wrap the floss under the needle there. Then I know for sure, oop, don't hook on the top there. I know for sure it's gonna get, the loop is gonna catch. I think I can see a little bit of that pink to blue transition. It's super subtle, but I kind of like it. All right, I'm going in and out, then wrapping that floss around the needle, just underneath the needle, and tacking it down. Oh, Barbara, thanks so much. They've never done this before. Hopefully I can help them. Oh, for sure. I bought the hedgehog, the lion, and the owl. Oh, awesome. So the hedgehog and the lion are probably a hair bit easier than the owl, just because the owl has those French knots in it. But other than that, they should be the same kind of level of doing it. But oh, that's exciting. You'll have to let me know how they do on stitching them. Embroidery is like the perfect first craft for people to get into, I think, and it's great for kids and stuff. And the nice thing with kids is, you know, you can have the design on there, like with the iron-on transfer, or you traced it, and then they can just stitch wherever. Having the more permanent iron-on transfer is nice, because if they don't end up stitching it, you still have the lines on there. So they could just decorate it with stitches. Ooh, 8, 10, and 12. Okay, they should be able to do it no matter what. Those are great ages. They should be able to handle it. All right, almost done. I got 3 more after this one. And then I think I'm going to just jump right over and start stitching these French knots and little X's. Thank you, Barbara. Yeah, if you ever have any questions, just let me know too. If you ever get stuck on them. All right, 2 more here. Do this one first. Oh man, loving the sparkle so much. This is a good way to start this up again. I was gonna do all the non-metallic first, just because metallic can be kind of annoying, and I usually like keeping my French knots to the end, because things can catch, like loops can catch on the French knots, and that becomes annoying. So I usually save that to the end, but I just really wanted to play with the metallic. I am going to do all the snowflakes in silver. Do you have your ABC animal embroidery planned for 2018? Like a stitch along for the ABC animals. I've been thinking about that, so we might end up doing something like that. We have a few other quilts, a few other projects lined up first, but I would love to do that as a stitch along still. All right, we got a roof here with some sparkles. I think it looks great. All right, I'm gonna just jump right into here and start these French knots here. I'm just gonna kind of go around until I run out of the metallic, and I'm kind of almost out here. So, all right, this is gonna be my first attempt at the French knot. It may be a little looser just because this might not want to play nice, the metallic floss, but so far it feels okay. There we go. All right, our first little sparkle knot. I think that's gonna work just fine if I just stay slow. I don't think it'll be any more difficult. Oh, thanks, Jenna. Oh, your first introduction to crafting was embroidery. Oh, pillowcases with your grandma when you were about 10 years old. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's just because it is kind of like, it's kind of like those coloring books that are out now. It's just those adult coloring books. It's just relaxing, and you know, you just follow a line. I know a lot of people start with cross stitch, kind of for the, I mean, you know, which is embroidery as well. Just because you can follow all those squares, and you know, whatever you do with embroidery, it's gonna be fun. Like even if you don't do all the lines and everything. I do. So for my French knots, let's see. Maybe I can zoom in on here. I'll do a slow motion one. Ooh, that's real close. Okay. Whoop, little shaky. So when I do a French knot, I pull the, ooh, I think we're a little blurry. I'm gonna zoom out just a hair. Ooh, other direction. Okay. So I always, you know, I'm pulling the thread out to the front and I'm holding it up off of the base, and this is set on the table as well. I always need like a table for me or my lap to do French knots, or a third hand, but that, you know, doesn't work. So all right, I'm gonna point the needle away from the fabric, just like how I'm pulling this away. So the needle is not pointed towards the fabric, it's pointed away. And then I'm gonna wrap, you know, in between my fingers and the fabric here, I'm gonna wrap my needle around twice. I always wrap around twice. You can wrap around more times, or you can wrap around just once, but I don't know, twice always I think looks good. If you wrap more times, then you can start seeing like the goofy little loops. So all right, I'm gonna wrap around twice, and I'm gonna hold those loops by my fingers, or with my finger here, just so they don't get away from me. There, like that. And then I'm gonna point back towards the fabric. So now I'm pointing towards the fabric. I'm gonna go next to where I came out, but not the same hole. So I'm a couple threads over. And at that point, I'm, you know, just about like half of the needle is in here. I'm gonna let go of my loops, and I'm gonna pull them so they are against the needle and against the fabric there. And then here, I'm just gonna hold it there with a finger or a thumb, holding those loops again. And I'm gonna hold those loops as I slowly pull the needle through until all the floss is right up against finishing the knot, like against the fabric. And you can just kind of feel that with your finger. And that is the French knot there. All right, I'm gonna zoom back out. Oop, other way. All right, so now I'm gonna do these. Let's see, how do I wanna do these guys? I kind of want to go, you know, we have these lines that are going, you know, the 6 ways here. I think we're going to do them in like kind of big stitches. So we'll do big stitches to the center. And then we'll do all the sideways ones around it. I think that'll be the way to do it. I think I'll have just enough floss for this snowflake. I could have maybe done this in one big stitch, but I don't like my stitches being too big. This is about my limit here. Toe catchers. You don't want it to turn into a toe catcher. I love that phrase. Oh, thank you, Sue. Oh, you didn't let go of the knot. So much easier. Let go of the knots. Oh, so you were just pulling on the floss, and were the loops like getting all over the place, Gretchen? That's like if you don't hold it down with your finger, then that's what usually happens there. All right, and then I'm gonna do these across little bits, so it's almost like a herringbone stitch but in a circle. So we're going to cross, and we're going to do this one. Hopefully this works. Metallic floss doesn't always like to lay flat, so maybe I should have done this in a few stitches, but well, we're going to keep it like this now. I think I can squish them down a little bit. But yeah, we are running out of floss. I think I'll be able to do these last few. Still need to be able to stitch it in though. All right, 2 more stitches, but they're big stitches. All right, there's my little snowflake. I think that looks awesome. It's super sparkly, and it just has that little haze of blue that we put behind it there. So I'm digging it. All right, definitely time to weave in this end. And you know what? I think I'm gonna just jump back to my my normal floss here to weave it in, just because it's gonna be easier. It's gonna just hold better than this metallic, because it's just so unruly, this metallic. And I think I'm going to continue doing that, weaving it into the house and then jumping to wherever I need to be with the metallic. Snowflakes are one of the favorite ways that we colored. Yeah, I wasn't sure how that was going to work, if the little haze was going to look good or not, but I'm really happy with how that turned out. And I love this color method. I would totally do the coloring again. This was my first time doing the coloring with an embroidery, but man, I'm digging that roof. I love that metallic on top of the color. And yeah, these little French knots, it's just like that little extra sparkle, and I think it's really subtle. Like, I think because this is, you know, it's a light color, it's light like the background. Yeah, I think it's just subtle enough but special enough with this sparkle. So all right, now I did that little loopy knot to hold this shut again. All right, I love it. Let's get another piece of floss. So yeah, now I think I'm going to weave into the backs of the roof again here, this roof line, and then jump, and we'll just continue. So I'll do these 2 French knots and this little X, and then I'll just, I might weave into the back. Instead of making a jump all the way over to here, that's kind of a pretty big leap, I might jump back to the house, weave in the back, and then jump to here again. And then we'll just keep going around with all this snow stuff. Gretchen, I've been thinking about that. I have no idea how I want to finish this piece yet. You know, I was just thinking, I have this embroidery and I have that bunny hanging out here. Let me grab it. I have this bunny still from when we did the bunny stitch along. So I have both of these little guys hanging out here that I don't have a finishing idea for it yet. So I don't know. I might just end up at the end of this year with a bunch of embroideries that I don't know what to do with. We are going to be making later this year, I don't know when yet, but we are going to be doing that that pencil case from my book. I might use one of these for that, I'm thinking. That could be fun. It could be a cover of a notebook. All right, I'm doing that cool loopy-doop thing again. Boop. Ugh. Love it. Oh, thanks, Patty. Oh, you don't know what you're doing with yours either, Gretchen? Yeah. That's the one thing with embroidery, is like sometimes I just like doing the embroidery, and then it's like, oh yeah, I suppose I should be making this into something. I suppose you don't have to. A lot of times I like knowing beforehand with embroidery what I want to make, because then I can determine what size fabric to use and all that. But when I don't have an idea and I'm just doing embroidery, usually I just do it on these, you know, 12-inch squares or something. So I don't know. Maybe it'll all end up in a quilt or a pillow or something. Don't know. Oh, that's why you keep your fabric large so you have options after. That's super smart. That's kind of what I did with that bunny. I kind of had in mind maybe that I would do a book cover out of it. So I left that piece a little large, but this piece I didn't really. I'm thinking, you know, with any of these, my backup plan is, ooh, Glennis, oh, that's awesome. I'm thinking I can just cut out the piece and I can applicate it to anything. So that's kind of what I have in my head a little bit. I just don't know what that thing is. Like you could applicate it to a little, like a tote bag or, you know, just anything that I want a little winter bird on. So in my head, I kind of have, you know, I have that in the back of my head of, oh, I could just maybe applicate this, but I really don't know. They'll probably just sit around for a while until a perfect project comes up, which is fine. All right, here's my French knot again. Yeah, there's 3 things that can mess up a French knot. Ooh, going around the edge here. And I can talk about that. Let's see. Let's come up at the next French knot. Oh, you have the same issue. You have the embroidery, but then what to do with it? Yeah, exactly, Kima. All right, the first thing that people do wrong with French knots is they point the needle towards the fabric again. I'm going to zoom in again for you guys. So instead of pointing away from the fabric, like making this loop, they're pointing to the fabric and wrapping around. So if you do that, you're going to end up without a knot. It's just going to be like a little stitch. And I did a video on all the ways that you might be messing up your French knot and what it would look like if you were doing it wrong. So then you'll know, oh, that's what my French knot looks like, so that must be the thing I'm doing wrong. So I do have a video for that on YouTube, but we'll have to do that again sometime because that's kind of fun. So that's the first thing, though. First thing you might be doing wrong is you're not pointing away from the fabric, you're pointing towards the fabric. So let's point away, wrap it around twice. So the next thing that you might be doing wrong is you might be going in the exact same hole that you came out of. If you do that, you risk pulling the knot all the way through, like all the way through to the other side. So your knot might just go away and you have like a horrible knot on the back now. So that's the second thing. So you want to go to like a couple threads over, not in the same hole. And then the third thing is just pulling the needle through without holding down your loops or anything. If you do that, you'll end up with a crazy big loopy mess. So that's why you want to pull it so the knot's right against there. And then that's why you want to hold, I'm going to do with this finger, that's why you want to hold that knot in place. If you don't, you're going to have loops all over the place. And your French knot will be loose and loopy. All right, and there we go. French knot. All right, zooming back out. All right, I'm gonna just jump into the back of the roof again here, just so I'm not making as big of a leap. There we go. And now I'm gonna do our second little guy here. It looks like I have French knots on all the ends of these little balls here. Well, yeah, all on the tips of these. So we'll do that last. I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll go to the center, and then we'll do the little V's on them all, and then I'll do the French knots. Oh, thanks, Nancy. I'm happy to be back here again. It's been a while. I think that's the longest longest break I've taken. I mean, you know, technically we had the fabric sale, so I gotta, I wasn't able to do much chit-chatting there though, but you know, it was nice seeing your names pop up again, at least. We're trying to detox from all the candy and cookies we've been eating. trying to get back on the healthy train again, but oh man, I'm craving the angel food candy bad again. We ended up making some of it over the holidays, and it was yummy. All right, I'm thinking I probably should have done this second, because now with these guys, these little V's, I'm gonna have to go on either side of the floss here. Yeah, this might have been a weird idea. I think I went on one side of the floss there, and I think I'm gonna go on the other side here, so it's gonna be like little X's almost instead of V's. I don't know if I really like how that looks. Maybe I'll go underneath instead. That's what we'll do. I'm getting pretty specific here. Must be getting late. Oh, Marianne, it was so fun at the angel food candy. So, so here's what it is. The ingredients are easy and crazy. The trick is that we needed a candy thermometer and had like all these specific temperatures that it had to get to, and you had to stir constantly and all that. So that was the trick to it. I'll have to find the recipe again, but it was awesome, and it was like chemistry and stuff too. So what angel food candy looks like is, you know, it's got chocolate on the outside, and the shapes are all mismatched because you kind of break it up like a brittle, but it's not a brittle, but you break it up so all the shapes are different shapes. So that's what it looks like. It looks like a chocolate weird trapezoid, you know, square thing. And on the inside, it's almost like a Butterfinger, but fluffier. So it's almost as if you took angel food cake. Okay, this is going to sound really weird, but it's almost as if you bronzed an angel food cake, and like angel food, like the texture, the inside of angel food, just like that fluffiness. It's as if you've hardened that into toffee somehow. So that is kind of what it looks like, just like puffy toffee. If you toffeeized what angel food cake looks like, and then dipped it in chocolate. So here's what it is. Like when my mom and I started the recipe for it, we're like, oh my God, this is what this is. This is crazy. So it's a cup of normal sugar, like white sugar. It's a cup of brown sugar and a cup of dark corn syrup. Those are the ingredients. That's it. Oh, and then there's a little like teaspoon or something, or half a tablespoon or something of vinegar. And this is where like the fun comes in. So there's a little bit of vinegar. So, all right, so those three things you just cook over on the stove. I mean, literally a cup of sugar, a cup of brown sugar, a cup of dark corn syrup. So it's just like, oh my God, this is what we're eating, is just straight sugar acid. But anyway, so you cook that down, and you get to see all the like stages of what sugar cooks down to, and you have to cook it until it gets just to the right temperature. So we had to cook it on low for like a half hour or something. I'm not sure. I don't remember all the temperatures, but it wasn't anything. And like they were very specific. It was like 98 degrees, or like just. It wasn't 100 degrees, it was 98 degrees, you know, and if you went over that, then you're going to mess it up. So we had to watch that. And then once it gets to the right temperature, so you got the boiling sort of sugar concoction thing. At this point, it's kind of like a brown, bubbly, you know, mess at this point, really, right? So like a dark brown boiling thing of sugar. And at that point, you put something like a tablespoon or so of baking soda in it. And just like the volcanoes that you'd make in elementary school with vinegar and baking soda, when the two of those get together, it bubbles up. So, you know, like a volcano where it bubbles up. So it does it a little more subtly, but you put it in, and then all of a sudden it changes to a golden brown instead of dark brown, and it gets bigger and poofier, and it's like, oh my God, we're gonna have a volcano. And once you get it just stirred in really quick, then you pour that, as it's still like bubbling up, you pour that into a 9 by 13 pan. And that's it. Then you just let it cool. You know, it has bubbled up and then, you know, cooled right away into this poofed up sugar blob. But yeah, it's awesome. So at this point, it's a golden brown instead of that dark brown. And you just let it cool. So after it's cool, it kind of releases itself from the pan. We've buttered the pan, but we kind of determined afterwards that we probably didn't need to do that. Because it cools and it just kind of separates itself from the pan. So then at that point, sponge toffee. Oh, you know, that might be another name for it. We actually couldn't find it as angel food candy. That's just kind of what we called it. It was called crumb candy too, I think. What is, it's not a meringue. It's similar to a meringue, but there's no egg in it or anything. And the poofiness doesn't come from whipping eggs. The poofiness comes from that vinegar and baking soda reaction. It's kind of like brittle, but again, the texture is different because it poofs up. It gets all that weird air in. But it is hard like a brittle. It's just poofy. Sponge candy, yes. So that was another name for it, sponge candy. I like angel food candy though. That's what we call it in our family, angel food candy. So anyway, so now you have this big 13 by 9 thing of poofed up brittle, basically. And then we got a little mallet out and a butter knife, and we just kind of crunched it all up, and it broke in all these little shards. I mean, it kind of stays together. You want like kind of medium-sized chunks. You don't want itsy-bitsy shards. So, you know, like chunks about this big or so. I don't know. It depends what you like. But anyway, so now we have a pile of chunks, right? So after that, then we got chocolate, and we heated that up, and we tempered chocolate. We've never tempered, or I've never tempered chocolate before. So that, again, we needed the candy thermometer to get it just the right heat, just the right warmth, and then like had to put in the cold chocolate and stir it, and you know, so that was a whole thing, you know, the temperings to get it nice and shiny. So we did that, and then we dipped the little chunks, the little shards. Sponge candy. That's what it is. Sponge candy. Oh, did I say that already? I thought there was a couple names. Sponge candy. There was something else, and then we called it angel food candy. But yeah, then we dip it in chocolate. So they were all covered in like this perfect shiny chocolate. And that is it. Then it's just cooled on a rack. Oh, and we cooled on a rack, but we decided that it should probably be cooled on some parchment paper instead, because then we had like rack marks on it. So we updated the recipe. We put all our notes down in the recipe so we'd know for next time. But that is it. And it's so fun because, you know, well, it was fun for me because we were dealing with things that I hadn't done before, like the candy thermometer and just that chemical reaction with the baking soda and vinegar. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, Bonnie. That's what the other thing that it was called, honeycomb candy. Although I've had honeycomb candy at a restaurant before, and they didn't poof it up like our angel food candy. So I don't know if they did the whole baking soda vinegar thing like how we did it. Oh God, there were definitely no leftovers. We brought some home here. and I put them in the freezer so I couldn't find them. Or, you know, like one of those things that hopefully maybe I find it in July or something. But my husband, who decided he did not like angel food candy when we made it, now that they were frozen angel food candy, all of a sudden they were like super duper good, and he really, really liked them. And so we were both eating them, and they did not last more than like a day and a half, I think. And we both, you know, it's one of those things, I mean, it's, you know, it's corn syrup and sugar. So it was one of those things that, you know, we'd keep eating, and even, you know, feeling totally sick from eating all this sugar, we still would have to keep eating them because, you know, they were so addicting. But they're awesome. So that my grandma always used to have those at her Christmas party every year, Christmas Eve party. And it's just like a family candy that she always had. And we have the recipe written in her handwriting and everything, and we brought that out and updated it with our own notes on the back so we could do it again. And it was just fun, and it turned out exactly perfect. Oh, one last thing. This was an addition from my grandma's recipe, but after the chocolate was on there, so we've dipped it in the chocolate, one last thing we did is we sprinkled sea salt on top, and man, that really finished it off. So good. Oh my God, I've been on such a sugar high, Deborah, and man, I don't do very well with all that sugar either. I just get the horrible stomach aches, but man, I could not stop. I had so many cookies and so much candy. It was just ridiculous. You're not even hungry, and you know, and you already don't feel well from all the stuff you've been eating. But oh man, you really see what they say when they're like, "Oh, sugar's addicting." I mean, holy cow. I just could not stop eating those angel food candies. And there's a little bit, we have a little tiny bag of it left, but I'm saving it for a friend who's going to be coming over next week, and it's staring at me in the face, this angel food candy, and it's becoming difficult seeing it sit there. Wait, but I know it's for her, so that's the only thing that's keeping me away from it. Otherwise, that thing would have been gone before. Ooh, homemade sugar cookies, Deborah, so freaking good. I had a ton of those as well. My brother and mom made those before we got there, and they decorated them up all cute. They were delicious. All right, we're working our way around. This is going pretty well. So we have, let's see. I guess we're only about halfway. So I have some little dots in here, but I think I'm going to leave those as little like tree parts. So I think I'll, or should I make those snowflakes? I think I'll make them little snowflakey dots. I think I only have 3. I think this is just a mark on my, oh no, that is another mark. I was thinking it was just maybe a mark on my fabric, but nope, it's another one. I'll make these. Or they could be berries, though. So we could do them like pink or this purple. Or we could just do it all green, because we have basically everything green, and I could do like purple berries. Maybe that's what I should do. I'm going to treat them as berries because we have these other berries here. So we'll treat them as berries. Oh, you did those as snowflakes too down here? Oh, no, you did sugar cookies. Oh, dang. Just a traditional sugar cookie. There's something about those that are just irresistible too. It was fun making those angel food candies. It took a whole lot longer than what we thought it was going to, but it was fun, and I could see doing it again. It's one of my favorites. I think it's not anyone else's favorite, but I like it. Oh, I can't make my little knot here. There we go. Oh, and I just wish I had more, but they're gone. Oh, you're making them berries? Yeah, I think that's my plan too. They're berries. All right, I'm gonna weave in the back here again. That's been working well. Oh, wow, I cut this piece a bit long here. Hopefully it doesn't break on me. Okay, that's our next spot. Oh man, I want angel food candy so bad. But yeah, honeycomb candy is another name for it, and the sponge candy. Oops, I made a weird loop here. But yeah, Grandma would have those, and she'd have like peanut clusters and a whole pile of other ones. But there was always something special about the angel food candy, I think. It's one of those things, though, that I eat and I immediately can feel it in my body. That, like, I can immediately feel, like, the little buzz starting. Like, I can count the amount of seconds before I feel it. It's like that powerful. But, like, you know, once you know the ingredients, then it's like, well, duh. Sugar and corn syrup. Oh, you made 1 hour cinnamon rolls? Ah, yum. Oh, 6 teaspoons of yeast and 10 cups of flour. Oh, man. I mean, you know, I guess I'm not surprised at how minimal those ingredients are for those angel food candies, but there's something different knowing than, like, actually doing it. It's just kind of funny. All right. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do all of my little French knots on this snowflake. I'm going to have to go back and do that, I think, because I think it'll be cute. I suppose I could leave it as is, though, too. But I kind of like that extra little detail of the snowflakes. Oh, you make tons of lefse. Oh, that's awesome, Joyce. Wow, that always seemed difficult. Like, that would be a difficult thing to make. Uh-oh. Thought I was getting a knot. Yeah, I'm sad about those little French knots. So I'm going to have to do that again on that snowflake. Work our way back around to there. Oh, you love the knots on your snowflakes. Worth going back. Okay, I will for sure. Got talking about angel food candy. Got all excited and stopped paying attention. Oops. Wow, I'm having trouble with the thread on this one. Oh god, now all I want is sugar cookies and those some more. But you know what? It's nice to be eating healthy again. I feel so much better again now, and let's just get into it again. I made some soup, and we made a roast since we've been back, but all that's almost gone already. I gotta go grocery shopping. I like these snowflakes. Just that little bit of glow of color behind them, I think are super fun. All right, I think these will just go all the way across, these little sparkles. Oh, back to your steamer basket. Yeah, exactly, Gretchen. Yep. But man, I mean, the craving for all that sugar is still there for sure, but oh, it was a strong craving those first couple days after not having the angel food candy anymore. Yeah, here in Minnesota, that lefse is a pretty big thing. I'm not sure I've actually ever had any before though, but I hear about it all the time this time of year and see it. I don't think I've ever had it though. Looks delicious. Looks difficult. They're kind of like crepes, aren't they? Oh, but it's potato. But yeah, super, super flat. I kind of wish I would have, instead of going all the way across on these, I kind of wish I would have gone into the centers. They would have been, I don't know, more perfect maybe, but we're leaving it. I am loving this floss. It is a bear to work with, but you know, it's not the end of the world either. We're going to start on the Charming Chevrons. Diane, we are going to start that on Monday. So I thought it'd be good to start at the beginning of a week, and you know, everyone's still getting, or at least I am, still getting back into the groove of everything. And we didn't finish this guy yet, so I thought we'd finish him up in these next 3 days or 2 days, maybe 3 days yet. And then we'll start fresh on Monday. But yep, I'll get all my sewing stuff set up again. My guess is we'll start by cutting a whole pile of fabric. I'm excited for it. It's going to be one of those quilts that every block is basically the same, so you get to cut everything all at once and just get in the groove of cutting, then get in the groove of sewing and making those half square triangles. Then you're getting in the groove of trimming them down. So it'll be focusing on the one step and just like relaxing into it before moving on to the next step and just getting to look at pretty fabric. So I'm excited for that. And then we'll be doing the whole machine quilting thing. So I'm hoping to use the project as a way to practice and learn more about free motion quilting. So that's the big deal for me. Well, first of all, I got to use some fun fabrics that I've been hoarding and deciding that they should be made into something finally. So I'm super excited for my fabrics. And then really the machine quilting of it all. So it's a simple pattern, but I think still like a really pretty, striking pattern. And yeah, we'll attempt this free motion. And I think I'm going to be making mine queen size. So the biggest thing that I'm worried about with the free motion quilting is, what do I do with all this bulk everywhere? How is that gonna, I'm just seeing that getting in my way. Like the actual act of the free motion quilting, I think that's gonna be really fun. I definitely will need tons of practice, but it's how do you do this, you know, move around the thing with all this bulk everywhere. And I'm gonna be using my, you know, my normal little sewing machine. I don't have any special, you know, large necked sewing machine or anything for it. So that's kind of the challenge. You roll and you roll. Well, I'm going to have to learn how to do that better than I do now, Gretchen, to rolling up the quilt. Oh, you're doing only a throw size? So that's what I should be doing. Just starting with a throw size. But I love this fabric so much, and I just think it'd be a good quilt when I'm done for like our futon that folds out for when people come, and you know, I think it'd be a good quilt for that. So I'm going queen size. All right, I need to jump over here for this one little spare guy. So instead of jumping all the way there, I'm going to kind of weave into the ends, into the backs of these stitches. So I'm not making a leap that big. So I'm just going to tuck into these stitches here. So I'm not making toe catchers on the back here. This is a toe catcher right here. But once I stitch this plant, I'll catch that in there. So, and same with here. I'll catch the back of this one, which is pretty big too. I'll catch the back of that in all the French knots that I'll be making on the front here. So I'm not that worried about those. All right, we're in place. I'm gonna do this little one. Oh, there's one up here too. Good. I had to just check the pattern again. That one I didn't draw very dark. Or a mug mat. Yeah, that's how I really should be starting, right? So I did do a couple little tests with the free motion after I got that foot, the new free motion foot. And that seemed to go really well. So it's just, yeah, it's the challenge I think is going to be less about, I mean, it's going to be about the designs and knowing where I'm going next, which I'm scared about, and all those things. But yeah, it's how to deal with the bulk of the quilt. I think that might be one of the bigger challenges of this. I don't know what I'm making with this yet. Oops, see, that's why I don't like doing French knots till last. The loop catches on the other French knots. So we'll see. I'm gonna just have this hanging out in the wings, and then when the right project comes up, I'll throw it in. I am using fat quarters. However, some of them are fat eighths. So I don't actually know if I have enough fabric pulled. And I think, I'm not even sure if I remembered right for the, for a queen size. I just have in the back of my head that I think I cut out or pulled enough for a queen size. I already cut, well, I'm using yardage for the main fabric. So it's like a main fabric and then it's a mix of fabrics. And for the main fabric, I cut whatever yardage I needed, whatever it called for the queen size, I believe. I'm not positive. And then I have a bunch of fat eighths and fat quarters, mostly fat quarters for the other ones. So my plan is I'll just start cutting it out because it's a bunch of squares. So all the squares are the same size. So I'm just going to keep cutting squares and keep counting them. And if it turns out that I'm shy, then I'll cut some more. And if I'm shy on the fat quarters, I'll cut what I have and then go find some more. So I'm being loose with it. But I'm going for that queen size. All right, I'm done with going around here except for those little French knots. And oh, we're getting a little late here already. I do want to go back up and make those French knots, but I don't think I have enough floss with this, which is a kind of a huge bummer. I'm going to jump across here. I think I'm going to have to get a fresh piece of floss for those French knots up top. So I'm going to just weave this end in, and I'm going to quickly get another piece and finish it off. Then we'll have all the metallic done today. And then tomorrow we will start up on the rest of the little foliage around. Although now that I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? I was thinking maybe it'd be better to save it for later because maybe there's not a lot of stitching with all the rest of this wreath, but there are a lot of little things in there, a lot of leaves, lots of stuff. So I think we'll use up our time. All right, one last time. I'm still digging this little loopy thing that we figured out here. All right, I don't need that much this time. Lost my needle. Oh, it's still in Zeb here. Oh, you're using a layer cake for the print. That's a good idea. Yeah, so on the pattern, her pattern is great. So definitely check out the link for the pattern. In the photos of the pattern on the website, it shows the back of the pattern, and the back of the pattern is where it has all the info on the yardage, and it's great because it's broken up in a bunch of different ways. So it's like, if you have yards, then this is what you do. If you have fat quarters, this is what you do. If you have a layer cake, use this many. So for a twin, and for a lap size, and for all these different size quilts. So it really is, she has you covered in letting you know what you need up front. So that's really, really great. So if you're not sure, It says on the back of the pattern, so definitely buy the pattern, and then it'll say on the back how much fabric you need. So if you get the pattern, what's nice is that she does, like I said, have that photo of it. So you can get the pattern, but you can look up how much fabric yardage you need, or fabric you need for what size you want before the pattern gets to you. So you can get all your fabric in line as well. Or just pull from your stash. That's what I'm doing. I'm still in the use up all the stuff, use up all the things mode. So I'm pretty excited about, I'm excited, well, especially with this fabric sale, like I'm super excited to see these bins get emptied. I think that's just so satisfying. I've had a lot of this fabric for years and years, and I'm excited to see it starting to get used up. And same with the I Love Home quilt. That was all fabric I already had. I just kind of want to keep using it up, and then I can start buying more fabric. Oh, you bought the PDF for it today? That's awesome. Yeah, so I'm sure that PDF has right on there the yardage and all that too. Oh, okay. I'm already liking it with the dots. Definitely a good idea to go back and put these little French knots back in here. I love it. Then all the snowflakes are a little different, which is nice. That little French knot was a little wonky, but it's okay. Ah, this floss is crazy. A little unruly. I'm excited for my fabrics, so they're all just really like juicy. Like that's the only way I can describe them. They're like berry. It's like if I had cups of grape juice and cherry juice and cranberry juice, and like if I just had a row of just berry juices, that's what all my fabrics look like. And a lot of them are really kind of painterly and stuff too, so that kind of goes with the whole juiciness of it. Oh, Connie, you guys got a whole lot more of the penguin and fish fabric than I thought, which is awesome. I'm so excited that it's going to be used, and you guys will get to have some. I do have, just so you guys know, I do have a few, like a yard here and there of different ones. It's going to look like a long list, but there's actually only like a yard of all these things. So I'm going to post the list of what's still left probably next week sometime in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. There, that looks so cute. So I will send an email out about it though too, because I want it to be, you know, fair. I don't want it to just go up so you guys know like what time I'll post that. So I'll probably repost the video, the original video, in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group, along with the list of what's still available and how much yardage there is. So if there was anything there yet that you'd like, then you can still grab it, and you'll know like kind of what's left. So you know, I have to do all that yet. So it'll probably be next week sometime, and I will send out a little letter about it just to let you guys know when it'll be up. But yeah, so there's a little opportunity to get a couple more yards if you're interested. But all right, so I think that was a million times worth going back and adding those little dots. Ah, I love this. I'm loving it more and more as we stitch it in. So last little bits, it'll probably mostly be this green. I think we're gonna do green for basically everything. It'll be neat because the green behind it, the little hover of green, the green crayon, the tinting of green is different with each one. So even though we're using the same thread, I think they're still gonna feel different because of the background. Yeah, so we'll use this green, and then really I think we'll just maybe stick with this red. I kind of like this. We'll do this purple for the 3 or 4 berries that are down here, and then this will be the holly berries. So these 3 colors for tomorrow. But what I like is now that I have floss in here, the background, that little pale blue and, you know, this pale pink and everything that we put behind there, they're way more subtle. So I was kind of scared that like, oh man, I just put a giant blue blob there. But now that there's stitching on top, it does settle into the background a little bit more, that tinting. So that's kind of interesting. I'm excited about that because I was scared about these giant circles. But no, now it's I think working just right. So all right, that is it. I'm going to take it out of the hoop so it doesn't crinkle as much, so it can just settle overnight, and we will pick this up again tomorrow. So all right, I'm going to flip you guys around. All right, so here we go. I am liking it more and more. Just all that sparkle is so sweet. All right, and then we're done with the metallic floss too, so that's good. All right, so, oh, Robin, there is not a lot left. It's gonna look like a long list because, you know, I started with like 150 or so different fabrics. I'll have to count how many fabrics I started with. So I have a list I don't know, maybe 25 to 30 fabrics that are left that have like a yard or a couple of yards. Some of it I started out with like a lot of yardage, like 20 yards. Some I only had a yard left. So they vary a little bit what's still available, but I will put that list together and I'll actually put a description of what the fabric is too. So instead of just, I'll put like A7 and then a description of, you know, what that fabric actually is and then the amount of yards. So that should be helpful. But I'll also have the video there so you can scroll through to see exactly what that is. And I'll get that up again sometime next week. Hopefully, I don't know, but I'll definitely let you guys know. I'll let you guys know here the day before it goes up, and you should get an email about it as well. So I just got to get those things together. And I'm cutting all your fabric over the next few days and should get it sent out next week sometime as well, with the little giveaways that I'll have for a few random people who are getting the books and stuff too. So, all right. Oh, you want to see the empty bins? I know, I'm excited for that, Robin. But all right, I will get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies, and it was awesome chit-chatting with all y'all again, and I think we'll finish up this embroidery tomorrow and maybe get a day of splendid sampler sewing in as well. We'll see. So awesome. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening. Good night.